On this
I'm
episode,
ready.
on this episode of Geek Dad Live, we're going to talk about the week in Geek, like Keaton returning as Batman. Hey everyone, welcome to Geek Dad Live. I hope you enjoyed the same intro that we had last week because I forgot to make a new one. But it still kind of works, right?
Right. Sure.
But
If
anyway,
you missed last one, you can. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
It's like the beginning of every Rocky movie has a little bit of the previous Rocky movie in it.
You're right.
So
There you go. All right.
Yeah.
I like that.
Previously on Geek Dad Life.
But Ralph, how's it going? It's been a week since I've seen you. Your beard's a little bit longer. I feel like that's how we'll
I know.
show the progression.
We're gonna see how long it gets before I go back to work. But yeah, this is a I don't know what, 3 months, something like that.
It's amazing how like incredible your beard grows. Mine just, I mean, it could grow, but it just it's all gross and scraggly looking. Like yours looks like a nice freaking mountain man beard.
Yeah, everyone could see the beards. You no need to explain.
But anyway, yeah, how's it going? How's it going for the last time I saw you? Anything exciting happen that week?
Nothing exciting. Once again, I never do this. I gotta close my window real quick.
I thought you were writing fine.
Well, what's funny is like maybe like 45 minutes ago, I had the window open and we had like a helicopter flying around and like sirens going off everywhere. There's a fire like across the street, across the railroad tracks, and down a little bit. So it was a little gnarly. So I was like, oh, I better close it in case something else happens. Yeah, I don't know. It's been an interesting week. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but I work for a major amusement park in the Anaheim area, and they're supposed to be opening in a couple weeks, but now they're not opening in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But then today there was some news that I don't think we had slated for this, and I don't even know if it's something that's kind of in your wheelhouse. That they're changing Splash Mountain. I'm assuming it's still going to be called Splash Mountain. I don't see why they would change the name.
Yeah.
But it's going to be themed to the Princess and the Frog, which is cool because it's current situations, it's probably best to pick a different property to model it after. And then secondly, I think it fits with the theming of the land a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Because Princess of the Frog takes place in New Orleans, and so
exactly.
Yeah, that'll be cool. It'll be interesting to see what they do moving forward. But yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited for it because it's I appreciate why now is the right time, or at least see why they've done it this time. But it's kind of like for a while,
right.
or probably since they made it, we knew it was like this is probably not the best theme to put on a ride, but I guess so. And now it's getting the Princess and the Frog. And it's one that everyone says is like a underrated or kind of overlooked Disney animated film, mainly because it was like they said, we're going to make a true animated 2D animated film again. And it kind of couldn't compete with, the computer animated films of the time. So I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
And
it's a good movie. And it's the last hand-drawn animated film from Disney. So I'm kind of hoping that, if this kind of gets more interest in that film, hopefully we could see more hand-drawn animated features in the future. I don't know if it's going to happen, but man, it would be nice. It would be really nice to see a traditional hand-drawn animated film. I want to say that the movie Tangled, which is I feel like is an underrated movie. I feel like Tangled was originally supposed to be hand-drawn, and then it went to CG, which for me, it's a big bummer because I'm a huge fan of hand-drawn animation. But yeah, all this looks is real interesting. It looks like they're keeping the Briar Patch,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe they're switching it up a little bit. That's actually really cool looking. I haven't had a good shot of this. I like that boat in the tree.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Very striking.
There's a lot of the Fireflies. I wonder if they'll kind of incorporate a lot of those from the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'm all for it. And here's the thing: is I never go on Splash Mountain because I've been on it plenty of times, but I don't like getting wet.
Mm-hmm.
So since there's nothing new, like I don't really care about going on Splash Mountain when I go to the park. But now I'm definitely gonna go on it, and the line's gonna be enormous. But yeah, it'll be cool to go on it again and see it with the new stuff. I mean, there's so much stuff they could keep in there too. Like the paddle boat, the big river boat.
Yep.
They have that stuff in the movie, so they didn't even have to change that sequence. So it's a real nice, easy transition.
Yep.
That I mean, I don't think it'll make people upset. I think it shouldn't. And I mean, I haven't heard anything. I remember when Twilight Zone Tower of Terror was going over to Guardians, I heard a lot of people upset, and I'm not hearing it as much with this, but I feel like it's just a little bit of a shift that makes a huge difference. So it's interesting to see. I like the movie, and I'm hoping that this gets more people to watch the movie. I'm sure on Disney Plus they'll pop it on a featured thing, and it'll get new ground. So yeah, good news.
Yeah, I think so. I agree. I think it's gonna be cool. And the thing with like the Tower of Terror, or at least from my eyes, it's one of the occasions where the Walt Disney World version, or the Disney MGM Studios, or now it's just Disney Hollywood Studios, was way better than the Anaheim version. So I was fine with them kind of overhauling the Anaheim one, just because the MGM Studios one was a better ride.
I never really cared for the Tower of Terror. It was fine. But my sister and my wife loved it. So we'd always go on it. And when they found out it was moving over, they were not happy. They wanted nothing to do with Guardians. They were just completely against it. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't care either way. And I'm like, I don't want to go on it anyway. So whatever. If you guys are going to boycott it, cool, whatever. And then one night at work, because I work third shift, like after the park closed, they had us all go and try out the new ride. Yeah. So I'm on the clock, and I'm like, okay, well, if I'm going to go on this ride, I might as well do it on the company's dime.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I go on it, and I'm like, dude, that was amazing. And so like I worked all night, and then like 6 a.m, when my sister and my wife were awake, I sent them both texts, and I said, it's better. I know I'm not the biggest fan, but it's better. I said, you guys, you got to try it. And then so we went for my wife's birthday, and we went on it. Then they were just like the whole time shaking their head, like in the exterior queue. And then once we got inside, yeah. I'm like, come on, you got to go. It's a short line. Just you have to do it. As soon as we got inside, it's very, very interesting. But you're also like, oh, this isn't the Hollywood Tower Hotel anymore. You kind of get mad about it. But then they went on the ride, and they're like, I think I liked it more, the Tower of Terror. So, I mean, it feels like anytime Disney does like an upgrade, it's always for the better. I feel like the shift, even though very minor, from California Screamin' to the Incredicoaster, very, very minor changes, all cosmetic, makes the ride so much more fun.
Yeah, exactly.
And it doesn't hurt that Giacchino scored that ride. He scored the ride. It's not just music they dropped in.
Yep.
So
well, like Giacchino did the first like updated Space Mountain.
After post Dick Dale. He did that. And he's got a few rides. I think he composed 8 different pieces of music for another upgraded ride, which used to be the Flick Flyers. Flick's Flyers is now the Inside Out, a more emotional whirlwind. He composed 8 different tracks or something like that for the different writers.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah, it's kind of neat. Like, it would be weird going into, and I know I worked at the park every day, but it would be weird going into the park and seeing your work on display. Like, wouldn't that be crazy if you went on like the Incredicoaster and it was your music that you composed for it?
Yeah, I feel, like Michael Giacchino, and you know, you know him. I've met him before. Really nice guy, but he's had this charmed life of a composer in which he has had like his work and has gotten to work on projects of like massive kind of geek scale, if you will, like getting
stuff that he's like been a fan of prior.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's just really cool. It's like what I love about Geek, like whenever stuff and he deserves all the accolades that he gets because he's incredible. The work he does is incredible, but it's just like it's one of us. It's one of us that's doing it. And that just kind of feels cool from like a geek perspective.
I wonder if he goes on the Incredicoaster and he's like, "Oh, I should have changed this here." Like as he's writing, probably.
But yeah, no, I think all the stuff they've been doing with California Adventure has been just kind of like trying to improve a lot of the rides. I really dug that Disney Plus series, the Imagineering series.
Oh, they need to. I guess they're going to be doing more.
Oh, really? Oh, awesome.
I think, from what I hear, they're going to be focusing on individual attractions. So a whole episode might be about pirates.
Old school Shinobi asked, did he know Damon Lindelof or J.J. Abrams before breaking in? I believe he knew J.J. because they worked together on. Did they work together on Alias?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he worked on Felicity.
I think it was Alias, and he did kind of video games before that. That's like what was his first.
Well, I think that might be one of the things that helped him out was he was doing video games at a time when video games what were video game composers, but he started getting into, I have a Sega CD game that is Mickey Mouse in the Castle of Illusion or something. It might be a little bit different. I have that Sega CD game and he's got a couple tracks on it, which I play for him. And he's like, okay, that one's mine. No, not this one. He said, there's like a level where a moose is chasing you. I played that one. It's like, yeah, that's mine. He started getting into it when the CD generation came along. And so he started with, I think, Medal of Honor. I believe Medal of Honor used a full orchestra. And that was produced by Steven Spielberg in DreamWorks Games. I think that has something to do with his transition into films.
Yep.
That score is really, really popular. If you haven't had a chance to listen to the game soundtrack to Medal of Honor, check it out. It's amazing.
Yep. Old school Shinobi also said, I think did Lindelof's Leftovers. No, he did not do Leftovers. I can't remember the composer that did, but for Giacchino Lindelof, it's only Lost, as far as I know. But I mean, Lindelof has had a pretty good string of composers to work with because I mean, in Watchmen, he had freaking Trent Reznor and
Atticus Ross.
Atticus Ross. So like, yeah, he's had his taster's choice of composers. But
right.
Lolo Pap, who was here last week, welcome back. Would you like to see an all-female Aladdin movie? My first opinion on who plays main character is Yasmin Al-Bustami. I don't know who that is. I will look it up right now.
An all-female Aladdin movie,
like where they're all whatever. I think Jasmine's a really compelling character. I'd follow her on an adventure. And then who played like her? She was from SNL in the movie.
Nassim Pedrad.
What was it?
Nassim Pedrad.
Okay, I don't know her name, so I'm gonna trust you there. But I really like their dynamic and everything. I'd thought like sure, like why not? I don't care. Anything. I'm always just new content. you know, it can exist. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Like
we mentioned last time, there's Ghostbusters. Same thing. Like,
yeah, like just
did all female Ghostbusters, and we're glad there's more Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Better to have more than less.
Yep, exactly. I remember a time in the 90s and stuff like that where I was just like, I would give anything for any type of new Ghostbusters ever, just because it's kind of weird. It's a double-edged sword of now everything is a rehash. Like there's no property that isn't being put in front of our faces at all times. But I remember, like, as a kid geek, as just a geeky kid that remembers the time when there was no Star Wars or no Ghostbusters, or like there was big gaps in franchises because it was just like it happened, and if you were there when it happened, great, but then it ended and then there was something else to kind of consume. And there's a part of me that remembers that and is glad that there's these properties that we love that are being brought to us on a fairly regular basis. But then there's also the other side of that. Well, it's like, well, is there anything new happening? And I where do you side on that? Do you feel like there's still enough new stuff happening along with the kind of the nostalgia kind of retreads?
It's funny because the people who are making movies now are the same people who grew up with no Ghostbusters and no Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And so like we miss that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a property that I want to see come back,
mm-hmm.
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
If it's property I don't really care about, fine. It's kind of tough. I just hope that the people who are doing the remake stuff are people that can do it right.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see more original stuff, because what's going to happen to the kids who are growing up now?
Yeah.
What are they going to make when they get older? Hopefully all new stuff, and they don't just retread stuff
that's what happens
from now to 70s and 80s, and it's not just a vicious cycle. I'd like to see more original things. It's few and far between. I think last week we mentioned John Wick for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool trilogy, not based on anything, and successful. So I feel like what needs to happen is you need to get these filmmakers who do kind of smaller movies that just kind of get this following in the aftermarket. Because I went and saw John Wick in the theater. I just went by myself. And then I told my wife about it. And then we watched it. She loves it. And so it's like, it's a word of mouth thing. I think that you just need to make sure that people who are putting the money into these things are doing it with care and making it right and making it good. We just need good storytellers. And even a small franchise could become something bigger. So, fingers crossed. I like a little bit of both. I mean, I'm more excited about Bill and Ted's than anything coming up. Obviously Ghostbusters, but it feels like Bill and Ted feels like it's coming sooner.
Well, yeah, because I would assume they'll probably put that one online instead of delaying it until it'll be in theaters again.
And that's kind of nice too.
Yeah.
That's what's nice about things being available online is that it'll give studios more options to experiment more with something, maybe a little bit lower budget that you can put in, just online. And instead of, having to drop all this money to distribute it, across the world. So, maybe that's the way to go. I've been saying it for years that I would love just to see a smaller Star Wars. Like we kind of have that with The Mandalorian.
Yep.
And it's more easily digestible. We don't have to wait, 3 years for the next movie to come out. Just do kind of smaller budget things like that can kind of, satisfy our urge for something new or, something nostalgic. But I like this online thing. I like the, things going directly. I don't know. I didn't see Trolls World Tour. I'm sure you may have.
I did not.
But it's one of those things. It's one of those things where it's like, it's kind of interesting. It's cool. Just seeing that Trolls World Tour up there, I'm like as an experiment, I was like, oh, I'm kind of interested to see what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, it's just going to be a kids movie, but but you're like, ooh, it's a movie that's premiering at home.
Yeah.
That's
We did. We haven't done any of the kids movies because we have enough with Disney Plus. We have enough like movies for family movie night. But instead of having to pay $20 for a rental, but we did do the King of Staten Island, the Pete Davidson, Judd Apatow movie was like premiered online, and it was fun. Like there's Colleen and I like assume you're like big just going to the movie person. Like we love going to the movies. We live right across the street from a really nice movie theater that has it's not fully like an Alamo where Alamo is just part of the experience too, but has the reclining seats and really good food and beer, wine, all that. But it's a Cinemark now, so we have the Cinemark movie pass, so we get like a free ticket every month, and it's really reasonable. And we would go before the pandemic, like at least several times a month, either as a family to the movies or just Colleen and I. So we do miss that, but it was fun too, just to kind of like get a movie straight to home. That was a fun experience, and I think it'll be interesting to see like post COVID-19 pandemic, like what the movie scene looks like. I hope Alamo survives. I hope like our theater survives. AMC, I could care less, but the big ones. But like the nice kind of more Cinemark isn't indie, but it's a smaller type. It's a more intimate type movie experience. And Alamo, we have an Alamo Drafthouse here that also has a VHS rental section, and I really, it's got to survive because it's a really kind of special movie going experience. Do you guys have an Alamo?
There's one in LA, and it's fairly new too.
Okay.
So it's what was that, 40 miles or something?
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah. It's not the easiest 40 miles either.
I'm surprised you all don't have one in Anaheim.
I don't know.
Maybe it's just maybe it's too expensive there. Maybe Disney has too much land. I have no idea. I don't know what
maybe I don't know.
But no, I love our Alamo Drafthouse. It was the first one to have the VHS tape rental store section, and they've got everything. It's not just like the tapes everybody has. They have all the random, like weird B movies you could possibly want, and it's free to check them out. Rent them and take them back. And they have Blu-ray sections, all that stuff to rent too, but also the VHS tapes. And if you don't have a VHS player, you can rent the VHS player as well, which is kind of cool. It's pretty nice.
I have one. We have one.
So do I. It's right. Hold on. Oh, right there. With my Sony 1988 Trinitron.
Yeah, I can't do that. I can't move my camera to show you mine, but it's right over here. Speaking of Disney Plus, you know what it's the first thing I did when we got Disney Plus, after looking at The Ghost in 3 Men and a Baby, was I went and I looked at I started watching the Herbie.
Right? Sorry, it's a 10 decent confirmed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was trying to see it better in the HD, but it still looked the same. I started watching the Herbie movies, which they have all the Herbie Love Bug movies.
Oh wow! Okay.
Plus.
Yeah.
With the exception of like the World of Disney made for TV movie, The Love Bug, starring Bruce Campbell, they don't have that on there. But I gotta say, dude, I don't know if you've seen Herbie Fully Loaded with Lindsay Lohan.
Michael, I know that
Michael Keaton's in it. Matt Dillon is in it, and Breckenmeyer, and who's the other one? Why can't I think of his name? The Justin Long.
Oh yeah, love Justin Long. Let's see. I've been quiet, anyways.
But it's great.
Okay,
it's written by people from the state, Thomas Lennon and Ben.
Oh really?
Yeah, and it's rated G. It's really good. So that's my recommendation. If you have Disney Plus, watch Herbie Fully Loaded with your
Awesome.
kids. Yeah, watch it with the kids. I'm sure they'll love it.
I love the Herbie the Love Bug movies as a kid.
Yeah.
I think the first one had what's his name who plays Mr. Banks in Mary Poppins.
Yeah, David Tomlinson's in it.
That's it, David Tomlinson. So I just remember as a kid, I was like, he's in this? Oh, cool. Because I was a big Mary Poppins fan. But anyway, yeah, no, that's okay. Herbie Full. I think, when I was a camp counselor, I remember putting that on for the kids. I don't know if I ever fully watched it. I was just like, oh, Michael Keaton's in this, which was really exciting. Old school Shinobi said Alamo's calling the shots there. Their mask policy influences AMC's policy. Well, it should have. So that's good. And then Lolo had a question. Out of the OG Ghostbusters cast and the new cast from Afterlife, list the actors/actresses you want to see in a Ghostbusters movie. They then gave their list of Naomi Scott, Keanu Reeves, Will Smith, Diane Guerrero, Tom Holland, and Michael Keaton. Wow, that's a diverse list. But speaking, I don't know who I'd want. I just kind of like whatever.
I know. I think I've said it before.
Okay, go ahead.
David Duchovny, Julianne Moore, Orlando Jones, and Sean William Scott. Come on.
I love Evolution. I love it.
I know, but what if they were Ghostbusters? You'd love it more.
That was my whole thing with Evolution. Again, speaking of starred for like Ghostbusters during that period of time when nobody cared about Ghostbusters, or at least not the level that I cared about Ghostbusters, which was too much. But when Evolution was coming out, like even the promotional campaign and everything was just like Ghostbusters, had the big three-eyed alien. And it was, David Duchovny was, the Bill Murray, and was it Orlando Jones? Was that more the Egon, kind of the nerdy, maybe the Ray? I haven't seen it in a long time, but anyway, I was really.
Hey, I watched it recently.
You did?
I loved it just as much. Yeah.
I haven't seen it since I got it on like DVD in 2001 or whatever that was. So I have to watch it again. I liked it.
Yeah. But they always drop it on iTunes for like $4.99. Just keep an eye on it. There's an app called, I don't know, it's called Cheap Charts, and you can put in a wish list and it'll let you know when things drop.
Oh,
so I use that a lot.
Because I do try to keep track of the iTunes $4.99 movies, $7.99 movies, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
do the same thing.
They'll show you the history every time the price changed and when it changed, so you can see patterns. And you're like, oh well, this movie's $4.99 every 3 months, and I'll just wait, and then boom, it'll be $4.99.
Dang, all right, I got to do that. I definitely got to do that.
Cheap Charts. It's an app on your phone.
Charts. All right, I want to everybody at home write that down. I'm writing it down too. Old school Shinobi says I always thought it felt more like a Men in Black riff. Yeah, Men in Black 2 is kind of a sci-fi comedy type of thing, which was I think it knocked Ghostbusters off the pedestal for best box office kind of comedy film, like best box office performance, because before that Ghostbusters was the highest grossing comedy of all time until Men in Black, I believe. I think that's what I think, if I remember correctly. Okay. We kind of touched upon it for a second there with Michael Keaton and Herbie fully loaded, as well as saying Michael Keaton is on his wish list for a Ghostbusters film. But the big kind of geeky news rumor out of the week is that Michael Keaton is apparently in talks to reappear as Batman, as Bruce Wayne, in the delayed, don't know if it'll ever happen, Flash movie.
Right. It sounds like they're starting to get things set in place. And the way I see it is they're in the middle of writing a script.
Yeah,
they're probably talking to Michael Keaton like, hey, this is what we want to do. If you're out, that we got to change things completely. But if you're in, what level are you going to be in it? How much do you want to be in it?
Yeah.
If you're in it, do you want to be in the suit? They're probably figuring all this out so they can move ahead with whatever story ideas center around that Batman.
Mm-hmm.
This is a cool thing. A lot of one of the things that kind of upset me on the internet was all the headlines were saying that Michael Keaton replacing Ben Affleck. But it sounds like what they're trying to do, because it is Flashpoint, is have the different Batmans coexist.
Yes.
Like they did on the Flash series.
Yes.
So I don't feel like he's replacing Ben Affleck.
Mm-hmm.
He's existing in the same space. They're bringing, since the TV show Flash and the movie Flash came together on the CW show, this means now that the Batman from '89 can coexist with the DC universe as well. And we already know that the Flash from the '90s, John Wesley Shipp, also on the new Flash show, will now coexist in the same universe as Keaton's Batman, which I always kind of assumed they did until one episode. There's one episode of the Flash where there's a Batman movie poster in the background. I'm like, oh, you messed it up. But it's man, I've been saying that for a long time too, is that I always wanted Tim Burton to come back and do a Batman 3 with the older Keaton.
Yep.
And I'm not necessarily a fan of the theory that it's going to be Batman Beyond. I just like that he's Batman.
Yep.
That the Flash visits that Gotham. So if we get to see that Gotham again, with like the Art Deco and stuff, and the cars and the fedoras and stuff, can you imagine?
It would be.
So we need Michael Keaton to fully commit and like be in this movie. I heard a story this week that on the set of Spider-Man Homecoming, that in between scenes or during scenes, he would whisper into Tom Holland's ear, "I'm Batman." So he clearly still has a love for the character.
Yes.
And I mean, man, he's got to be in the suit. I want to see, because my favorite Batman suit of all time is the Batman Returns suit.
Yes, I
want to see the evolution of that suit, what that looks like now.
Yeah.
Because they won't go full on armor like Batman v Superman or like Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises. It's got to be an evolution of that classic Keaton black suit with the bright yellow symbol.
Yeah.
And I mean, get him in it. Get him in the suit.
I agree.
I don't want to see Bruce Wayne. I don't need to. I mean, it'll cool to see him with his round glasses and his black turtleneck or whatever.
Yeah.
But get him in the suit. Dude, classic Batmobile.
Yeah.
I want to see the classic Batmobile. So, like, I don't know. I can't even, like, to see Ezra Miller in the same frame as that classic Batmobile it'll make me crazy. It's going to be like, that's the kind of nostalgia I want. I like, we're talking about if we want new stuff or keep rehashing old ideas.
Yeah.
What I'm a fan of the term legacy sequel, which is essentially like Tron Legacy.
Yep.
So Tron Legacy took a couple characters from the original movie, brought them over, and then introduced a new cast.
Yeah.
Similar to like The Force Awakens.
Yep.
So I'm cool with that. Like,
Yeah.
if you want to rehash something old, have someone hand it off. I think that's where the Ghostbusters 2016 kind of fell apart. For me personally, I feel like it should have been the original Ghostbusters handed off to the new Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, I'm kind of, even if I'm tired of rehashing, just the thought of seeing that Batmobile on the big screen, little screen, depending where they play it. But I mean, dude, how exciting is that?
It's incredibly exciting. Like, and just the thoughts of it, just everything like in what your head can imagine. And I could see it for you too, just like the smile that just kind of emanates from just the thought of like what could be is really, really cool.
The Lego Batman movie kind of did it where they put Billy D. Williams as Two-Face in the movie, which is something that Tim Burton wanted to do and it was setting up in the original '89 Batman.
Yep.
Was Billy D was Harvey Dent and it was supposed to be Two-Face. It never happened. I don't think I would be okay with him now as Two-Face. He might be a little bit old, but
Yeah.
with Keaton, man, if Keaton can be the Vulture, he could be Batman again.
Exactly. Or even was it Birdman? The had a longer title than that.
Mm.
But he was in the suit in that, and I just there's I've enjoyed this resurgence of Keaton because again for
Big
both
fan, yeah.
like, Keaton is like our Batman and just and Beetlejuice and Mr. Mom, like it's just so many.
Dude, Night Shift is
Night Shift.
Night Shift needs to be viewed by everybody listening to this.
Correct.
If you haven't seen the movie Night Shift, watch Night Shift.
That's his breakout role as Night Shift, right?
Right. Yeah.
And let's see. PD Dubs here says they should do it Old Man Logan style. Kill Keaton off at the end. I like the Old Man Logan style, but I'm not sure about killing him off. Just let him exist forever in perpetuity.
Right.
But I think that's what was kind of cool about the Dark Knight Returns comic, the Frank Miller comic, was just kind of showing old bats, like what if Batman actually aged, so I do think it's really compelling. I think it's something that we as Batman fans, as you know, especially 89 Bats fans, and also Keaton is our Batman fans, have kind of just in the back of our mind have always been thinking of, it'd be awesome if they did a Dark Knight Returns and had Keaton as the Bats, or if they did a Batman Beyond and had Keaton the Bats. Just showing old Batman and having Keaton return for that, I think would just be so freaking cool.
One of the good things about this too, this Flashpoint movie, is that it'll like make everything matter. So if your favorite Batman is Christian Bale, if your favorite Joker is Joaquin Phoenix, like you can like all these different things. It could all be different actors, and by having Keaton in this, it tells you, hey, listen, there's infinite Earths.
Yep,
they're all different. You could watch Robert Pattinson as Batman, but at the same time, Keaton's over here in this world doing his thing, and I like that they're setting up this Flashpoint where you can have these characters from different eras interacting. I can't even like anything we see of 89 Gotham, I'm going to be incredibly stoked. Like if there's the Batwing or anything, anything.
All of it. And I love what you're talking about, that it should be a continuation of, it should be an evolution of. So, the bat suit should be an evolution of that, iconic, black with yellow bat symbol kind of rubber suit. Doesn't necessarily have to keep being one like hunk of rubber where you can't like move. So it can be evolved, but it should be evolved from that.
Like there was a definite evolution between 89 and 91 Batman Returns. There was a definite evolution, but it still had a specific look. And I want to see what that look is for the third of his bat suits. And then bring Michelle Pfeiffer back too.
And that's what they're saying, Michelle Pfeiffer.
Are they saying?
Yes.
Geez. Okay. I mean, I watched Batman Returns last weekend because I was so excited about this news. And I was just like, oh, she's so great.
She's fantastic.
She might be my favorite Batman villain on film.
I mean, that's a bold proclamation because there's been some good ones.
Yeah, Ledger, yes.
Ledger, Joker, yep. And Aaron, I thought his Two-Face was great.
Right.
And Two-Face.
But Michelle Pfeiffer.
Listen, that Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman is like how like I knew I wanted to get a girlfriend or a wife or whatever. When it's just like, I was only like 7, but I was like, I don't know what it is
happening.
Yeah, she's making me feel something I've never felt before.
She put a bird in her mouth.
Like legit, that wasn't whatever. She like literally did it. But let's see some Night Shift love here. Night Shift was one of those great early 80s R-rated comedies. Crazy Hank TV. Night Shift is a great movie. I think and for those who don't know, Crazy Hank TV is Jack, who's my dad. He showed me Night Shift, so that's how I know Night Shift is because of him. So thank you, Crazy Hank TV. If you like TV show reviews, discussions, check out his channel Ralph's on there a lot when they're doing their Lost rewatch. So definitely, if you like TV show discussions, check that channel out. Let's see. Michael Go as is it Gao as Alfred. Do you think? I mean, he would be passed away by that point, but he was a great Alfred.
Like a photo, like hanging like a painting. I think would be cool. I'm sure they would do that. Yeah. I mean, Vicky Vale. I mean, who do you bring back? Wasn't Michael Wohl, the guy who played Alexander Knox in the '89 Batman, I believe, reprised that role on the DC crossover, the Crisis on Infinite.
Right. Yep.
They already coexist. So
but it is a great.
I'm so excited.
So there's precedent and history in DC Comics with all the multiverse and the different Earths that it just makes sense. Like it works. It's not far-fetched. It's within the fabric of the history of DC Comics,
especially with the Flash.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And if it's in the Flash, maybe if it's like literally just a quick run by of that universe, whatever. But then maybe that opens it up to really spend some time back in the '89 Bats universe. That would be however they do it. I agree with you 100%. Need him in the bat suit. Need to see the Batmobile. If Michelle Pfeiffer's in talks come back as Catwoman, yes, please.
I want a brand new photo with new Keaton and the Batmobile in that same shot that I had the poster of on my wall. Yeah. That was on like the trading cards and stuff. Yeah. Just him with his arms folded with the blue background. I want that recreated.
110% agree with that one. I have
thumbtacks.
I have my Keaton Bats toy section up here. And I try to do the same thing of having the Batmobile, '89 Batmobile, and him standing there. And then I have my Robin figure with him as well. That was released with the toy line, but there was no Robin in the film. Who I believe was it wasn't Marlon Wayans? It was one of the Wayans brothers.
Yeah, I think it was Marlon. Marlon or Sean.
And the figure they made him white like the comics, but the actual design that was supposed to be I think the Marlon Wayans action figure that kind of repurposed, which I think would have been really cool. I get why they didn't have time for it. Like really, there wasn't enough Batman in Batman Returns.
How about this? We get Marlon Wayans as Nightwing,
dude. Yes, right? Yes.
Is it Marlon? Can anybody look it up? I think it's Marlon or Sean. It's one of those two.
I think it's Marlon Wayans. But that would be awesome.
If he was Nightwing, make it happen. Make it happen.
Pretty sure it's Marlon. Yeah, Marlon
Wayans. How are we not millionaires?
I don't know, but yeah, he would be amazing. That would be awesome if he came in as Nightwing. That'd be so freaking cool. Man, this discussion has me so excited. I hope we're not like overestimating or like maybe hoping too much, but come on, just make it happen. Make it happen. Right. Lolo Pap asks, hey Jay, would you like to see Kevin Conroy in a live action Batman movie? I believe they were like alluding to that in the Batwoman TV show that he was going to come.
Well, once again, that DC crossover had him as Bruce Wayne.
Yes. Yes.
I didn't see it. Was he wearing the classic like mustard colored shirt?
I didn't either, so I don't know. I just heard that he was going to don the suit in the Batwoman series or something like that. So I don't know. It's on HBO Max, so I gotta watch it. Even though I know that show's kind of with what's her name? Ruby Rose. Leaving the series, it's kind of in flux because they're not going to continue the Batwoman character. They're going to follow a different character, whether it's a Robin or something like that. But
anyway, I need to watch that crossover, I think.
Old school Shinobi said Marlon. It was. Yeah, I think that'd be cool. Like, I don't know. Let's just bring them all back. Get Tim Burton back and just make the damn film. Like, come on. Let's do it.
I'm going to go on. When we're done with this, I'm going to go find some tweet like from Variety or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna retweet it on VHS Dude. Say Marlon Wayans is Nightwing, and just put that out. If it's not already out in the world, it should be.
Exactly. Agreed. All right. One or two last things I did want to cover this week. One, Hamilton is dropping next week, and I don't know if you're a Hamilton fan or not. This is going into Broadway geekery, which is probably not this audience's main demographic. I totally understand that, but I'm really excited. This was a film that was supposed to be released in theaters October 21st of 2021, and they've pulled it all the way up to next weekend or next Friday. And it's not even like you have to pay for it. It's just going to be on Disney Plus. So I'm really pumped for the Hamilton dropping next week.
So here's the thing. I am not a fan of musicals.
Mm-hmm.
I really am not. I have no interest in. I won't say that. I've never had an interest in seeing Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard nothing but good things about it. I like Lin-Manuel Miranda, and the fact that they're just putting it on Disney Plus is definitely going to make me watch it.
Yeah,
like it's just right there to watch, so I can see what it's all about. I don't think I'd want to spend money on tickets. I don't know if I would want to spend money to go to the movies to see it. So since it's just being presented to me in my living room for a service that I already pay for, like, awesome. I'll watch it, we'll see how it goes. I thought that the Mary Poppins Return was amazing. I thought they did an amazing job. Lin-Manuel Miranda's music in that is great. I liked his music in Moana. I think he's super talented and completely likable. So there's no reason why I shouldn't watch this. So the fact that they're just like giving it to me, it's like, all right, I guess I'll take it. So maybe in a future episode, I'll let you know what I thought of it. Because I have no frame of reference.
Yeah,
I watched the Hamilton Drunk History, which Lin-Manuel Miranda was a part of, and that's pretty much all I know. So I'm pretty excited to see it. I don't know if I'll see it day one, but I'll definitely check it out at some point.
It's
report back.
It's one of those things where I am not a Broadway goer or anything like that, but Colleen is. Like, she grew up in New York. She would go to shows all the time. Like, she is, big B-Way fan, as they call it. And when she fell in love with the soundtrack, she was like, this is so good. It's so amazing. I was like, okay. And there's something when like people like over index on you need to experience this. I'm like, all right, chill out. I will get to it eventually. That was kind of my thought about it. I was like, people were too hot about it. And then it came to Raleigh. The touring company came to Raleigh, and I knew how much Colleen loved it, and she was like scouring tickets, stuff like that. She's like, I found these tickets, and they're not that expensive. And I was like, absolutely, get the tickets. And so we got them. We went, and it was one of those things where I had no expectations. This was like the first Broadway play I'd ever seen. And by the end of it, there was just like tears streaming down. I was like, it was amazing. Oh my God. And so since that moment, like, huge fan, listen to the soundtrack all the time. We went and saw it again in Chicago because they have a residency in Chicago. And I'll probably see it several other times, and really excited to see the original Broadway cast. They captured it on film back when it was happening in 2016, I believe. So really, really pumped for it. And this is the part where I cleanly Colleen was right. You were right, Colleen. So I'm really pumped about it because it's really good. Like, if you like Lin-Manuel Miranda, if you like what he did with Moana, if you like what he did with Mary Poppins Return, he is an incredibly talented like wordsmith, and like he wrote the music and the words, really everything for this play, and it's really good, really, really good. And if you like history, it kind of has a bit of everything for everyone. I'm a history major, and I went and immediately read the book afterwards that inspired it, the like 1,000-page biography. It's just a really fascinating angle that you don't really hear on the founding fathers side, because Hamilton often gets overlooked for his contributions, but arguably he's one of the most significant founding fathers. So anyways, it'll be a fun watch. I'm excited about it, and we'll definitely do like a post. If you watch it before 2 weeks from now's live show, we'll have a little extra chat about it. Let's see some other questions here as we're rounding out the show. Would you like to see real Ghostbusters figures in the Ghostbusters Fright Features line? Yeah, absolutely.
I think once again, the more the Ghostbusters, the better. Like, you're not going to complain if there's more anything Ghostbusters anything.
Old School Shinobi says it's time for a good musical film. Well, you're going to dig Hamilton. Says all I know of Miranda is his role on Curb Your Enthusiasm. I don't know his role there. I'm sure it's fun. But he's kind of getting to live his best life. He plays Gizmo Duck on the new Ducktales show, and he does a great job on that. I don't know if you've watched the new Ducktales.
Just a couple.
It is fantastic. Like, the cast is amazing. It's a really good show. The first 2 seasons are on Disney Plus. Season 1 is, I'd argue, it's up there with just really good TV, period, whether it's animated or not.
Stevie's been rewatching Gravity Falls. Have you ever watched Gravity Falls?
I watched the first episode. It's one of those ones I need to dig into because it's one of those it's considered pinnacle animated TV.
It's like Lost level serialized mystery. Like but it's also a kid's show. It's also very gross. Highly recommend it. If you haven't seen it, if you want to watch something with the kids, something that you're going to get a kick out of. But there's a total. They set up stuff in the first episode that gets paid off like halfway through the season.
Yep.
So I recommend that as well.
DuckTales follows the same. It's a serialized show, so it has individual episodes, but then there's this overarching story for each season, and that pays off. The season 1 payoff is just so freaking amazing. And they're all really big fans of like the Disney Afternoon, and they've basically created a Disney Afternoon universe where all of the characters of Disney Afternoon kind of exist within this world, which is really cool. So definitely experience and check that out. Let's see. Mariano Chacon, the new agreed. The new version of DuckTales is awesome. Season 3 has been fantastic. They did a 007, a James Bond inspired.
Oh, really?
You would probably dig. Miranda is working with Larry David to make a musical, and of course they clash. That's awesome.
But Lin-Manuel Miranda on that show plays like a really heightened version of himself where he's like a total a-hole. So he's completely unlikable. And you can tell it's that whole Curb Your Enthusiasm thing where people are playing themselves. A lot of fun.
Lolo says, would you like if Hasbro got the license rights to DC? I would, for the main purpose of them getting the rights to do super, where is it? I can't do my hand. Right there. Superpowers. The Superpowers Kenner line is the best superhero toy line of all time.
Is that a Green Lantern next to your Aquaman and Shazam?
No, it's Flash. The light's really shining too far. They did 33 figures plus a mail away Clark Kent. I have every figure from that Kenner line, and it's one of the best toy lines of all time. Just so, like, every character is fantastic. The sculpt's great. They just look fantastic. I love the Superpowers toy line. So absolutely, I would love for Hasbro to pick it up. But they have the Marvel license, and I don't know if they would want to have both at the same time or if they're even allowed to. The DC license just it was kind of split up, and now McFarlane has, I think, 7-inch scale and higher. And what is it, Spin Master or something like that has the smaller scale figures, which they're fun, but God, yeah, I think Hasbro getting would be really cool. Yeah, exactly. Disney doubled down on their contract with Hasbro, so I doubt DC is in the future. Yeah, I'm fine with the license holders for DC right now, but man, I would love a Superpowers kind of reboot or something like that. It'd be really cool. All right. Please no spoiler. I will not spoil Ducktales season 3, but it's. I think they've only done 6 or 7 episodes so far, but it's been really good. The problem with watching it live while it happens is they do 6 episodes and stop for like 7 months and then come back. But I hope they do a panel this year because the panels are always a lot of fun. Bobby Moynihan's usually on the panel. Last year, Lin-Manuel Miranda did a surprise appearance at the panel, which was like that smaller room at Comic-Con like blew up when Lin-Manuel Miranda jumped out. So yeah. Anyway, Ralph, any final thoughts before we close out the show this week?
You do have in the artwork, you have Ian Holm in the artwork. Sad to hear about his passing.
Yeah.
If I can suggest, if you're not familiar with his work, I mean, you should see Alien for sure.
Yeah.
Of course, like the Lord of the Rings and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I recommend something that not a lot of people are talking about is Time Bandits. I feel like if you haven't seen the movie Time Bandits, check it out. Terry Gilliam film. He did it before he did Brazil. I believe it's his second movie. In the 80s, it came out in 83, maybe 80, somewhere around there. It was a kids movie, but back then kids movies were different. So I think
would traumatize you.
yeah. And but it's so much fun. It's a really good movie. Highly recommend you watch Time Bandits. He plays Napoleon in it, and he's brilliant. So if you get a chance, I recommend Time Bandits. Watch that, watch Night Shift, and watch Herbie Fully Loaded. But Time Bandits is on HBO Max. I watched that recently as well. Yeah.
Awesome.
So you can watch all of those movies, I think, right? I don't know where Night Shift is, but just go buy it. It's great. You're going to love it.
What I love about HBO Max now and Disney Plus, like it covers so much of content library that's out there that it's kind of as a consumer and an appreciator of media, for was it $14 for that, and Disney Plus I did D23 deal where
it was like $4 or whatever.
Yeah. So
I have nothing to watch on Netflix.
Time Bandits is great. An unofficial Monty Python film. Do you agree with that statement, Ralph?
Well, you have Terry Gilliam directed it. And you have John Cleese and Michael Palin are in it. So that's 3 Pythons. Yeah, it's not bad. Highly recommend it. Check it out. It'll traumatize your kids, but in a good way. It's a movie they'll never forget.
Well, it's kind of like, Return to Oz, or I don't know. I've never seen Time Bandits, but like Return to Oz.
You've never seen Time Bandits?
I don't think so. I may have as a kid, but
you got to watch it.
But I was reading some article about Return to Oz because I think that's on Disney Plus too right now. But just talking about how like kids' films in the 80s were like so freaking dark. Black Cauldron, I think somebody mentioned Black Cauldron, or there's a Black Cauldron ride at Disney. I don't think there is. I don't think there's Black Cauldron ride at any Disney park.
It's just there was news recently that Taika Waititi is going to be producing a Time Bandits series.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you're going to want to jump on it. Dude, it's a great movie. You got to check it out.
I will.
See if they have it at I guess you can't go to Alamo. I was going to say rent it on VHS. I think if you were to find a VHS copy, that's a perfect way to watch it.
Really? Okay.
Just I feel like
in 4:3.
I mean, you can watch it if you want to watch it. Yeah, if you want to watch it on HBO Max, cool, go for it. I watched it all the time when I was a kid. Someone just showed up. Your bar here is blocking most.
Oh yeah, sorry, blocking the beer. There we go.
Yeah, Time Bandits, guys, 100%. Check it out.
There you go. And I think Marinos also. It's gonna be a whole forever till the whole season comes. It might be until, but the way I can watch the season 3 episodes of DuckTales right now is it's on the Disney Now app, because that's kind of the Disney Channel app. And so I don't have cable, but if you know somebody with a login that has cable, that's how you can do it. Let's see. Or was it? Wait. Andy says my sister and I made our parents rent us Time Bandits on VHS once a month for at least a year. So Andy agrees with your watching it on VHS suggestion.
Yeah, you don't have to. You could watch it right when we're done here on HBO Max. But I think something about putting a VHS in gets you in the right mindset.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like instant nostalgia.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Even if it's up to you.
Well, I have my VHS is, right here next to the TV. And there's just something about like, I'll put in Jurassic Park or Hook or Beetlejuice or whatever, or Back to the Future. Like there's just something that just takes me right back to watching movies as a kid. And I have a beanbag chair and I'll just bring it and just like sit on the floor. There you go.
All these.
Well, you are a prolific VHS. You are a VHS dude. So,
yeah.
But there's just something there's something about that experience of, especially having this big TV. I can just sit on the floor and just like watch movies or cartoons. Like I have cartoon tapes that I put in with my boys, and just like experiencing things that way is just a really fun experience. So I do appreciate the suggestion. It's just a matter of finding a tape and finding one that's still playable. That's the challenge.
All right. I'll get you one.
What's that?
I'll get you one.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
I'll get your copy of Time Bandits.
And then one last question here before we close out. Lilo Pat, would you like to see the new Ghostbusters characters in after? Yeah, of course. Yeah, 100%. Like anything.
More Ghostbusters toys?
VHS is to vintage paperback what DVD is to ebook. Yeah, there is something, just taking
the
tape out, and play, or even if you still have tape with like inserts or whatever, like just like that, and then little ads that come out before it. Like, what did you pull up? I missed. What did you have?
Yeah, It's Jungle Warriors with Sybil Danning and Marjoe Gortner, and it's looks like that.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Very nice.
This is like a trashy action movie.
For me, this is a nice version of the Ghostbusters tape that started it all for me. But I still have my original Ghostbusters tape that I got for my 3rd birthday. And I watched it so freaking much. Let's see. It doesn't really play anymore, but I still have the tape. But yeah, this is my copy of Ghostbusters. Like it is totally ripped. The bottom part is ripped out. And like I think there's even some like markings that I wrote on it, like trying to like make the hand some more hand. I don't know. I don't know what I was doing as a kid, or even
maybe you're tracing it or something.
I think I was like drawing, the beams coming out or something like that. Anyways, so this one is really special and important to me.
Cool.
And the tag.
the tag's
completely dried out.
Yeah.
Doesn't work anymore. Yeah. But anyway,
I find those all over the house.
But anyway, all right. Well, that is a good place as any to close out this week's Geek Dad Live. Ralph, you have it there in your title, but you are a prolific web content creator. One of those things is VHS Dude. Are you doing anything heavy with VHS Dude right now?
A little bit. So I think I don't know if we discussed this on air last week about me getting I'm building a VHS Dude, which you can see is going to be an old Green Lantern toy. That's VHS heads up there. Offline, yeah. I was going to make a suit for it, and you suggested that I get a 1/6 scale suit for it. So that is on its way.
Yes,
I'm waiting for that to show up. So very soon I may have a functioning VHS Dude puppet, which I can then I can't reach it, but I have a VHS camcorder fully functioning that I'm going to shoot a show on and show clips from VHS tapes like Jungle Warriors.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Soon, yeah. This whole self quarantining is making me get stuff done, which is nice. I've been very, very busy. So yeah, go to casinoskunk.com. That gives you links to everything that I do, including the show. I added a link to Geek Dad Live as well. So
awesome.
Check that out.
All right. Well,
VHS Dude.
Yeah, at VHS Dude. It's funny. One of my buddies, David, who is one of the writers of the "I'm Not Okay, But I'm Okay with That" theme song, which was he made that up for a podcast that we were going to do that never came to fruition. And
really?
And I used that song because he was one of the co-founders of Tragic Hero Records, so he has a lot of music industry friends. So he got one of his music industry friends to write and make that song.
Right.
And this was years ago, and we just never finished the idea, but he got the song done. And I was like, do you mind if I use this song for the Geek Dad Live theme? Because I think it's just a really catchy tune, even though it's kind of a dark theme. I'm not okay, but I'm okay with that. And that goes throughout the whole song. But he's like, yeah, sure, that's fine. So anyway, David was just like, wait, you know VHS Dude? And I was like,
that's so weird.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, Ralph's been like a good friend of mine for 15 years.
Yeah.
And he was like, what? That's insane. Like, I effing love VHS Dude. He's one of my favorite, like, online, profiles or whatever. Like, he's so amazing. Weird. And so I was like, yeah, he's like, he was at my wedding. He's a really good friend. And so just a moment of like, you know this guy?
That's funny. That's weird. It's really weird.
Old school Shem said, what is the site? It is casinoskunk.com. That is where you find Ralph's, all of his media empire.
Right.
But anyway, all right, that'll do it for this week's episode. We'll see you all I think next week. I might be in New York, but I should be good if you're still good, Ralph.
Yeah.
And until then, hasta luego and goodbye.